NBL Supercoach round 3. We're seeing 162. The goal here is to push out and get close to the lead as quickly as possible, and then try and hold on for dear life. And the holding on for dear life means that we might be, 1 or 2 boosts down, behind people, behind us. But I think that in NBL Supercoach, what my synopsis of it all is that you have to get your cash going early. Later down the track, the second half of this season, there's so many doubles from all different teams happening, or nice transitions. It could drop down to 4 in a week there, for example, for double games. And in that scenario, you might have already had 2 or 3 guys from the previous week on a double that transition to one the next week. And so I don't think you're going to be able to make up too much ground later on. So if you can get your team set up really well, get some cash gains, get a really strong sort of 6, 7, 8 that you could play on any given week, on any given round, that's going to be the play. So in saying all that, this is my theory. This is what I think will work. Someone who wins the competition this year will use most of their boosts in the first sort of 6, 7, 8 rounds, I think, for sure. If you can get through sort of the first 4 rounds there, I think using 2 boosts, 1 or 2, I think you're going to be sweet. I'm going to be at 2 personally. I'm looking to not boost next week, and I'll show you that one. Round 5 could be a boost week, but it also is an interesting one with just Tassie and New Zealand on the double. So in that scenario, there's not a lot of guys in there you want. You want Jackson Cartwright for sure. You're probably going to want Will Magnay in that round 5. But outside of that, there could be 1 or 2 others maximum that you want, but you're not going to get 5 double game guys, I don't think, or not guys that are going to be valuable as well. So you've got to pick the players and the teams that are going to suit you along the way. And this week, it's an interesting one. The 2 main teams you got to look at are Adelaide and also Cairns, because they've got the back-to-back doubles here. Before Adelaide especially, you're going to have to move on from those guys. They don't have any doubles for a little while after that. And Cairns have a single into a double following the 2 doubles in a row here in round 3 and 4. So they're 2 to have a look at. There is a few players from each team that you might want to look at, and we mentioned them in the other videos. If you haven't checked out my little preview, that's a couple of days ago there, which was good on Monday. Go in and check that one out. You've got Wardenberg, you've got Rob Edwards, you've got Taron Armstrong likely to come in, but I think you can wait on him till next week, which is what I'm planning to do. On the Adelaide side, you've got guys like Kendrick Davis, Montrezl Harrell, DJ Vasiljevic, and personally, I am bringing in Harrell, and I'm bringing in Davis. So Jalen Adams goes to Davis here in this one. We've got Rob Lowe coming out. I'm actually going to trade him out after a bit of an average one. It's him or Illy, but I think that Illy has the higher chance of scoring better this week. He may lose a little bit more cash, but I'm looking for points as well as that. And we know that he has that upside into the 30 mark. So I'm going to hold on to Illy, and then Darius Days goes to Magnay there. And Magnay's going to be my captain this week. So I'm keeping it super simple. I'm getting 5 really strong guys in my starting side. And the goal here is having this type of team, having this starting 5 that all has doubles, that all should score fairly well, outside of maybe Illy. But I think he's not going to get 27, touch wood, in 2 games in this one coming up. And there's a chance that Delhi misses it. There's some news as to unsure if he's actually jumped on the flight to Perth or not. We haven't got anything confirmed yet. But I'll be holding on to Oliver and Lepepe, who have a double next week. This week I've got the 6 on the double, so the 5 starters and then Henschel. Hopefully he makes some good money. I've got Lepepe made 20 last week, which was awesome. We had Aldrich go up as well. A little bit worried about him. Hopefully he can bounce back after that tough one in the second game for Aldrich there. But he does come up against easier opponents than he did definitely in that clash against Sydney there. We've got the safety here, and that's what I'm looking at on a week-to-week basis, is safety in a captain. Next week you're looking at guys like Cooks, you're looking at guys like Jalen Adams, that are very much focal points of their team in a good team. So they're kind of guys you want to look at, in other weeks. And that's something that was a bit of a problem last week for guys. It was, the other thing with Walton Jr. was he's a great player, but the team that he's in isn't playing that well at the moment. And that's where you could look at Adelaide and go, well, they're potentially in a spot where they're not playing great at the moment, but Davis has hit 29 and 33. Harrell's hit 33 and 35. Davis has not played well and he's got those scores. Harrell has had lowish minutes, 17 and 21. Should be able to sit around that 20 to 25, hopefully. If he can get to 25, there's massive upside. If he sits at 21, I still think he's solid. Whether it's points or whether it's double-double threat, that's kind of the thoughts with him. There just wasn't a lot else. You could go cheaper, Lat Mayan, could have gone cheaper in a Elijah Pepper, these types of guys, but I do want to make sure I get a full team on the park next week without using a boost. That's the play there, because I'll have Harrell, I'll have Oliver, and I'll have Davis will be my 3 for next week, and then I'll make the 2 trays. I'm hoping and planning if the cash works out. If Illy loses like 15 to 20k, completely fine. If White gets close to that, so he's actually projected to make close to 40k. If he hits 30 and 30 across the double there, he'll make almost 40k and get him to 300k. I should be able to get Xavier Cooks and have him as my captain next week, and Taron Armstrong if he has a solid outing. If Armstrong doesn't have a solid outing, we don't want him, I'll go Illy to one of the cheaper guys that has a double from next week. Or we'll play it by ear on that one. But that's kind of the ideal play is those 2 guys out next week for round 4. And then with Magne, having him in this week, we've got the double here. We'll play him on the single next week. Well, most likely he'll be on the bench, but if things don't work out and we have to get a cheaper guy, we'll play him on the single next week. Again, little contingencies we always need. He has 56 upside like he had last week. So safety with him is he's increased in minutes, and he should be somewhere around that 30 range as a safety, and then has upside as well. You got 29 or whatever it was in that first game, and he didn't have a very good game at all. So there's something to note with guys like Magne, Flopnay, we've seen in the first couple of games. And then round 5, I'll have Magne in the team already, which is good, and then likely using a boost that week, whether that's 2 starters and a cheapie recycle, moving on from someone like Hickey, I think would be a play. We'll see what happens, but one of my cheapies is likely to go in that round 5. 2 guns, Jackson Cartwright, and someone else. We'll find out who that is, whether it's Tassie or New Zealand. And then we're hoping it's someone is available from New Zealand there. We've got Menenga and these types of guys to look out for sure. Maybe we get Taco Fall. And then, so that gets me to 3 guns and then maybe a cheaper guy, and that will at least make sure that I've facilitated the move to get up to Jackson Cartwright, who's going to be in the 415 or whatever it is, 420. And he'll be the captain in that week. So that's the general play for the next 3 weeks there, and it is something that I think you guys should have a look at as well, is your next 2 to 3 weeks. Make those decisions, get things right, get things set up, and hopefully you'll be in a good position to score well next week. And these trades here, they leave me with 72k in the bank, which is what allows me to get up to a Xavier Cooks or something like that next week. And unless I go cheaper than Armstrong from Illy, I won't be able to get to Adams. That's okay. Cooks ended up outscoring Adams across 2 games, even with a 50 piece from Adams there. So I think Cooks will be really, really solid in those 2 matchups, and that'll be fine. Otherwise, I still have options as to what I can do for round 4, and they've got doubles in round 6 as well. Do the Kings, so they're a really fun team to hold through that time as well. And I think we leave it at that, guys. We're in a pretty good spot in the leagues overall. The Podmasters League, they're sitting 4th out of 28. Looks like the guys haven't made trades yet in all the ones I'm in. I'm projected to win, considering I've got 403 as my projected there. But sitting in a good spot in all the other leagues, 8th in the usage rate pod league, just the public leagues as well. Podmasters versus the public, 17th in that. So in a really, really good spot. And I think keeping my foot on the gas is the goal. I haven't played too much from in front in my Supercoach and fantasy journey. And I know that I can usually, once I get to a spot, it's hard to push me out of that, just with the decisions I can make. And I think that playing from the front it feels a lot safe. You don't have to take as many crazy risks. You're usually a lot clearer in mind. And that's going to be my goal from here onwards, is try and push into that top 100 and then stay there for the year. And if the luck falls our way, if we make the correct decisions across the rounds, because right now it's going to be a lot of similar teams, especially this week, I think. But once it gets to a stage where it's doubles galore for all the teams, that's when you're going to have a lot of differences in squads, and people are going to go for different pods and different things like that. So it'll just be making the correct decisions once I'm in that sort of, hopefully in the top 100, top 50, and then try to push for overall honors. So that's the play. I'm trying to keep really calm with it, just trying to make really solid decisions with guys that I think are fairly safe in their roles and in their ability to generate points, because the last thing you want is guys to stink it up, like we saw with Illy last week, who haven't been too confident on, but at least he's not like an import price player or above. But yeah, we'll leave it at that, guys. I really hope that it helps you guys with your decisions, and that's the point of me, showing my team in all the formats that I play, is that I'm always in a different spot, whether it's coming from behind, whether it's in the mid of the pack, or in this one I've been lucky enough to be up top at 162. You can see how I played in different ways, and you can decide yourself as to how you want to play it. So thanks for joining us for this one, and good luck in tonight's game. We've got Adelaide versus Sem this evening, and then we've got Cairns and Taz, and Perth and Melbourne tomorrow evening. It's going to be a fun game tonight with Adelaide. Hopefully they can get the win. I imagine most people don't have any Sem players anymore, so go well Adelaide, go well Kendrick Tavis and Harrell, and we'll see you guys on the other side.